It's been so long.
I just want to make sure the setting was right. All right. Yeah, we're good.
Is that it? Are we finally back? We've all remembered how to do this?
Yeah.
Let's do it then. Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome back. After 64 days, we're back with another episode of the Designated Players Podcast. It's season 2, episode 1. We're back. I am so excited. I don't know about you guys, but I know, well, you guys know, I've been bugging you since pretty much the day we stopped about when we're going to get back to it. This first season was so much fun. If you haven't listened to it, go on a nice long drive, throw it on your Spotify and just listen away. Because we got a lot of really cool interviews over there and it's only going to get better from here. But welcome back. How you guys doing? How's life? What you guys been up to in these 2 months off?
Yeah, work, busy with school.
Exciting lives.
Yeah, it looks like we're all basically adults having to work. I drink tea now because
You're old now.
I'm old. I'm an old man, bro. I was at a training session. I was at a
Years
training
old.
session.
What does that make me?
Man, I was doing goalkeeper training today and I took 15 shots. I'm almost certain every muscle in my leg has been pulled in some weird direction. I miss the days when I could walk on the field and not have to worry about stretching and just go play. But I'm hyped for season 2. I don't know about you guys, but I just can't wait. We've got so much planned. We've already got like 7 or 8 episodes planned already. So it's going to be, we've got it's full steam ahead. Like we mentioned at the end of the last season, live stream game reactions, interviews during the week, and anything else you guys want, you let us know and we'll try and make it happen. But there's one thing that hasn't changed from season 1 to season 2, and that's that we always start off every episode with Scarf of the Week. Connor, enlighten us. What do we got?
I could tell you something that has changed. I've got scarves now.
No way.
Plural.
I'm no longer a one scarf wonder. I have multiple hits now. And I brought my new favorite one because it's the first episode back, so I gotta come out balling. So I have an RSL scarf. Got a nice, I don't know if you can see it very well, but nice shot of, I guess, Salt Lake City.
That's really nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I don't know what it says on here. I can't read it upside down, but yeah. I think it says this is the place.
It's a place you want to go and be irrelevant, maybe.
Salt Lake City.
That's for
place.
next week.
We so before we hit record, we were just debating and making fun of Connor's one scarf throughout all of season 1 last season. After this episode, I'm gonna put a poll out. Should Connor just wear the RSL scarf for all of season 2?
I already have a vote for yes. That's for sure.
I would say it's 2-0 right now. So Connor,
That's
you
not
might
fair.
start with one scarf.
I got all these new scarves, and you're just gonna make me wear one for the entire season.
There's always season 3.
How it is, yeah. That way we at least lock this podcast in for 8 years.
Exactly.
There we go. It's long term. It's big brain long term thinking, Connor. You got to go.
It would be way more than 8 years. It would be like 10 years, maybe.
The more the merrier. Adam, what are you rocking today?
So I decided to be a little different today. I chose not to showcase one of my many scarves. I'll actually just leave this to Andrew and Connor to decide. For those of you who are listening, I am wearing not 1, not 2, but 12 MLS jerseys all in one. It's glorious. For those of you who can't see, I'm in a white t-shirt.
Such a loser.
Because apparently this league doesn't know how to do anything creative and just spits out white shirt. But on a more serious note, oh no, wait, I'm still wearing a white t-shirt. It's the Inter Miami jersey from last year. Look at that.
You're wild. You're so wild. That's funny. No, yeah. I mean, we're going to share kit reactions when they all drop in a few weeks. But we've already shared a lot of our thoughts, lots of swings and misses. But what else do we expect, right?
I mean, we could expect a little bit better, a little bit more creativity.
I think this year we're gonna.
Connor, I know you're a bit new to the whole league, but if you've been around as long as myself and Adam, you've learned to stop expecting things from this league and just go with whatever happens.
That's pretty fair.
I'm looking forward to the 4 stripes on the sleeve this year instead of 3, and then just everyone else having the exact same design. Really just building off of last year. It's gonna be great.
What is that, 4 for how many 37-year-old English players are going to sign this year?
Yep. Ryan Shawcross, Kieran Gibbs, can't wait.
Gibbsy's coming to Metro, and I'm okay with that. I am rocking a new scarf that I got for Christmas. My brother made me shout him out, so this is me shouting you out, Matt. Thanks for the scarf. But it's got a nice, crisp little New York on the front, and then it's, of course, Red Bull on the back. But it's got really nice detail in the ends there that I really like. However, it does say NYRB, even though we all know we're RBNY, but details. But no, I really like it. I've got one more that I'll show off for next episode, and then I got a new one coming in for week 3, and I think I'm just going to start trying to cycle in a whole bunch of them coming out soon. However, this week, as anybody can see behind me if you're watching, Eastern Conference coaching moves and transfers. As of, and this is a disclaimer, as of February 21st, 2021. So we are recording this early so we can get ahead of our schedule. So we know there are going to be signings that are going to come out after this. We know that we're going to miss some. Allow it. So we'll start off with the coaching moves. We'll just go right into it because there was a lot that went on in the East that happened from the end of MLS Cup to right now. And of course, the saddest and most heartbreaking one of them all, DC United drops Benny Ball off the face of the earth and appoints Losada. Inter Miami switches up after 1 year and brings in a buddy of David Beckham's in Phil Neville. TFC coach Greg Vanney steps away, allowing Chris Armas to take charge. Frank DeBoer was out in Atlanta mid-season, but they brought in Gabby Hines. And Armas was out mid-season. They brought in Gerard Struber, who actually had a game last year because, as we all know, the system calls for putting a coach in charge of a team he's never seen play in their first playoff game. That's how the system works. You don't question it. You just accept it. And that's all of them for the East. There are a few more that happened in the West, but I want to know out of you guys right now, who has the most successful year and who has the least successful year?
I kind of want to say I was gonna say Miami. Part of me wants to say Toronto just because you're taking arguably one of the best teams in MLS over, I'd say, the last 3-4 seasons, and you're putting Chris Armas there. And that's not necessarily a dig on Chris Armas. It's just, when Michael Bradley starts playing right mid because that's the system, then we're going to have some issues. I don't know what Phil Neville's going to do with Miami. I don't know if Miami has a plan right now. So I kind of want to say Miami's going to struggle. But I also don't know what a DC team that doesn't have Benny Ball looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've literally never seen
normal.
Yeah. So who knows? They could go undefeated this season. Who knows?
Connor, your thoughts?
All right. So I'm looking at the list of new coaches and I'm thinking, DC's got some talent on the team. So there's a chance that the new coach can come in and get some talent out of them. I look at Miami and I think that's a dumpster fire over there with a coach that's never coached in the league before, which, that would have me concerned. Toronto's a pretty good team. So I don't think that, you would have to be a pretty bad coach to mess up what they already have there. And I just don't think that Armas is that coach that's going to mess things up for them. Even if he's not like a world beater, I think he'll be, competent enough at coach that they should be fine. I think Hines, for me, probably some bias here. I would say I think he has the best shot to be most successful in year one because I feel like there's a lot of good players and groundwork for him to kind of like start the team how he wants. Like I feel like this offseason they've done a good job of grabbing players that I think that would fit him well in the way that he wants to play. So I think that he could have good success there. And Atlanta's not afraid to spend money, so they'll back him. And then, RBNY is going to be fine. They're always, they're never usually like tanking much, worst case scenario, they're typically around middle of the table. So I don't see anything like drastic happening for Struber. So I would probably say Hines is my pick for most successful. And I think Phil Neville is probably my one for who's going to fail the worst, just because he's new and the team is in a pretty bad situation right now.
Yeah, when I'm looking at this question now, I realize I probably should have phrased it better than just most success, right? Because what is most success really going to mean? Is it meaning taking them from bottom of a league to the top of the league? Is it meaning keeping them nowhere near being awful, right? If you go into Toronto, who's perennially a top 3 team, and keep them there, is that considered success, right? So in terms of improving a team as best they can, I think you're looking at Hines strictly because of Atlanta being so bad and getting all their players back. He's probably shot for the best coach coming in. And I agree. I think DC United probably also has a shout there, just simply because there is a new system in town and you got the players that seem to fit that type of style. And we'll talk about that in a few episodes where we kind of dig deeper into the style of each team and how they're going to play. I am worried about Neville coming in, playing with the women's national team and having talent versus an MLS side that has been up and down and has lost a lot of players, hasn't really brought many in either. However, I do think there's a chance, like a little whiff alert, if you will, on Chris Armas at TFC. I think he has a chance to take a team, because we saw what he did with the 2018 Red Bull team. He basically gutted it, tried to play his own system, and ruined it. Will he ruin it in year one? I'm going to say no. But I think there's a chance he tries to change up tactics and it just goes completely south. I'm hoping it doesn't. I hope that they stay relatively decent so the East can be kind of competitive. But just out of what we've seen, you never know. So yeah, I'm gonna lock in Hines and Neville as well as best success and worst. But Adam, you never actually made a decision here, so give me something concrete.
Just because I know it'll annoy you, I'm gonna go with DC because I know you would hate to see them be successful.
I would hate to see them be more successful than Red Bull.
Yes, exactly.
I would like to see them back in the playoffs so we can beat them in the playoffs, but I'd hate to see them be better than us.
You forgot, and then ultimately lose to Philadelphia.
I mean, I was going to say
probably.
Yeah. Whatever. That's all right. It's one of the 3 teams.
Yeah.
As long as we know that the city won't make it in, that's fine by me.
Yeah. That's fair.
We'll see.
with all their -3 strikers. That's for later.
I heard 16 teams in each conference are making playoffs this year, so
wouldn't shock me.
Oh, me neither.
Charlotte's making.
Remember that thing? You know that thing, March Madness? Yeah, that's what we call the MLS playoffs now.
It's just one big
exciting.
64 teams and super leagues, and
we'll bring the teams in from USL and we'll set up a March Madness bracket.
I mean, that's technically US Open Cup, but mega US Open Cup.
We'll grab everybody. Grab like NASL, USL, any like lower tier. Like we'll grab the Sunday League team that's in like, I don't know, Rochester.
No, we'll just go over to Comac. We'll let David Soma run through every player, and it'll be me and Casman in the back defending against 9 attackers. Oh man, those are the good times. I miss those days. But before we get too sidetracked, it looks like we're about to move in to transfers in the East. For the future, when we do these types of things, I am going to randomize who we start with, because I am kind of tired of always starting with Atlanta and ending with Toronto. But because we didn't think that far ahead, we're starting with Atlanta. Let's go. So let's start with who Atlanta lost and then who they picked up. And then I'm going to send it over to Connor to answer a few questions for us. Atlanta went ahead and lost 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players this year from their squad that finished like dead last. They lost John Gallagher to Austin, who gave them 4 goals in roughly 1,000 minutes. They lost Remedy to San Jose, who gave them about 1,200 minutes, a goal, assist, and about a tackle a game. They lost their captain in Big Jeff. Again, about 1,000 minutes, 2 goals, 2 assists, and a decent center defensive mid option. Adam Yan, 3 goals, 1 assist in about 1,000 minutes. And then the 2 big ones for me, Fidel Escobar, 1,400 minutes, 2.5 tackles a game, and an assist, as well as Fernando Meza, who they brought in to replace LGP, who is now on his way out after 1,100 minutes, 3 headers a game, and 3 clearances a game. That's kind of shocking to me for a team that's got a brand new coach coming in. But anyways, they lost Andrew Carlton, Edgar Castillo, Manuel Castro, who they brought in to replace Joseph. He didn't hit. Lagos Kunga, who was supposed to be, I thought he was supposed to be the next wonder kid. That didn't happen. Brendan Moore, JJ Williams, Lawrence White, and that is it on departures. But an interesting note, this team only scored 23 goals last year. The players that they're releasing scored 14 of them. That's more than half of the goals they scored last year gone. Granted, no Joseph. But are we really going to put all of our eggs in the basket, Joseph returning 100% healthy? Connor will bring that to you in a second. Who they pick up? They signed a homegrown player in Jackson Conway, who actually scored against Club America in their CONCACAF Champions League game last year. They got Andrew Gutman on re-entry, but I don't know if he's actually there after kind of doing some research. It looks like he's currently back at Celtic. Kind of questions there. It's not on MLS's website either, so I'm not sure there. Re-signing Mikey Ambrose from Inter Miami, came back after a couple years away, giving you some depth at that outside back spot. Efren Morales, a homegrown player, and then the big ones here, Eric Lopez from Olympia. Looks like a future signing there, 18 years old, 4 goals in 12 games at Olympia, so that's a nice one there. You've got an experienced striker in Lisandro Lopez, who I can't really understand why they brought him in at all. Santi Sosa is the big one, 21 years old, from River Plate, supposed to be my guess is he looks to be their Miguel Amarón replacement. Ronald Hernandez from Aberdeen, outside back depth as well, still not really addressing that center back depth. And then Adam's favorite player, and we'll let him dig into it a little bit, Machop Chol, homegrown player, right to Atlanta too. But they have brought in players, but did they answer all the problems that they had? Connor, thoughts on their window?
They definitely haven't answered all the problems that they had. I mean, you can tell already that they're severely lacking in center backs right now. I mean, you have Miles Robinson and Anton Walks.
Yep, and I think the backup there is a homegrown player. I think that's it.
Yeah, and Walks can kind of go in between center back and right back, but I don't think their window's done. I know they've been rumored with a couple of center back options, so I expect them to sign someone else as well. Once they can cover that position a little bit better, I think that'll help round out the window a little bit better. But in terms of the guys that we lost, the biggest loss for me is Escobar. I think that he was like one of the more underrated players in this league. I think he was such a solid player for them, and he played like all over the back line, and he was versatile. He was really useful for them. And then he was just kind of randomly gone. And, maybe that has to do with him not wanting to be here if that's the case. But it's definitely a loss that's going to hurt, especially when you have no replacement for him right now and nobody else in the back line that's going to, fill that hole. And then you lost a couple of other like more rotational guys like Gallagher and Remedi and Big Jeff, Adam Yan, Fernando Meza. Those guys aren't going to probably make or break the team, but that's definitely guys that you'll miss that depth at times when, you're in the thick of the season. You got like US Open Cup and guys are injured or maybe they're away for international duty. And that's when you're going to really feel those losses the most. But I think they did a pretty good job in terms of signing people. My biggest thing is it kind of feels like they're signing people that Hines wants in the team. It feels like he's bringing in the guys that he wants, like Santi Sosa or Ronald Hernandez. And that kind of gives me hope that, if the manager comes up with a plan, this is what he wants to do, and the team's willing to back him, then that's something I want to see from my team, because then there's, if it doesn't work out, then there's no excuses. Then like he had his backing, he had his chance, it didn't work out, but hopefully his game plan pans out and then things go well for them. So I think it was a pretty good window for them. I just wish that they had a little bit less turnover.
Yeah, my worry is that they see what happens with PT Martinez, they see what happens with Brian Rodriguez and say, it doesn't matter if we're doing well, it doesn't matter if the player's doing well. If they're young and South American and have any bit of potential, we can sell them on no matter what happens. And that's what I'm seeing this trend right now is young South American attackers or wingers, and who gives a crap about who's playing in the back. And that is a fear of mine in terms of the entire league. If we start trending towards that direction, it just turns into, which isn't always the worst thing, but it turns into 8-7 games. And, you're looking at a back line that Liverpool has right now where you've got 4 center defensive mids playing in the back line. It just looks awful. They are linked to you guessed it, Argentinian center back, Lautaro Giannetti, as well as a midfielder in Franco Ibarra. That is where quote of the episode comes in. For those of you who can read it, but I will read it to all of you. Argentina makes, Atlanta United takes. That's where we're at.
Listen. If you look at who they brought in, there's only 2 Argentinians in there.
There's 3. Oh no, one of them's Paraguayan, isn't he?
Yeah, Lopez is Paraguayan.
That's right. They're all
Lisandro
linked
Lopez
to like 9 Argentinians.
They're linked to a bunch, but they've only signed 2 so far.
Yeah, but they continue to sign just the Argentinians.
I mean, if you count the coach, that's 3.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a nice tagline. We're gonna stick with it. I could say South America makes, Atlanta takes, but that's just a bunch of words.
Hey, listen, this is the way that I think a lot of us wanted the league to go, is to snatch up the talent from South America. So I'm not complaining too much. I'm glad they're doing this.
I agree. I completely agree. Adam, thoughts?
I'll be honest. I've been sitting here waiting to introduce the player that Andrew intentionally left out, so I didn't hear a damn word of that. But yeah, so the player Andrew graciously let me introduce that Atlanta brought in is not only maybe the coolest name I've ever heard of, but I'm just gonna put this out into the universe. Will be on the podcast at some point this season. So
yes, sir.
If when we clip these up, this will get sent to him. It is Atlanta's homegrown new player, none other than Machop Chol. That coolest name ever, hands down. This man, I am naming my fantasy team after you this season. Let's bring it home.
So let me go ahead and say a few things.
Yeah.
1, we just spent 15 minutes talking about Atlanta United's roster, and the only thing you could think of was one player.
Yep.
2, how heartbroken would you be if his name is actually pronounced something like Mac Hop?
I'm still gonna call him a chop, so it doesn't matter.
Oh man, that would be. Also, has anybody looked up his roster picture on Atlanta United's roster?
Yeah, it's incredible.
they must have hit like auto clear the background. It's missing spots of his hair.
Yep.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, he started playing with them in 2016 and has kind of worked his way up. Chose Wake Forest and is looking to be maybe a dark horse for a few minutes this year, depending on how quickly and how healthy Mr. Martinez comes back. So keep an eye out on him.
When he scores his first goal, I will celebrate like no other.
I'm gonna give the Twitter over to you and let you just go ahead.
Can't wait.
Somebody tell me who needs to make the biggest impact on this team in 2021.
Like anybody on the team, or just out of the new
in the who is the transfer in or signing in that needs to show up on day one and be like, let's do this?
I said Santi Sosa because I feel like both of the Lopez's probably aren't going to get a ton of the game time this year unless they move to a different position, because assuming Josef comes back and he does well, they're going to mainly play as a backup role. But Sosa is going to come in with Atlanta having dropped 2 of their midfielders, and Jeff and Meaty. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for playing time for him. So and if they don't have a ton of options, then he's going to have to play. So I think if he's gonna get big minutes this year, we're gonna need good performances out of him.
Yeah, and I thought he was an attacking midfielder, but I'm looking up now and
Yeah,
see
I
that
think he's a
a holding
defensive
guy.
midfielder.
So that is a like for like replacement right there, which is a huge signing for them. Yeah. I said it was Eric Lopez. Maybe not this year. I think he'll step in this year and play. But it looks like he is going to be their Miguel Almiron replacement. Paraguayan from an Argentinian league, plays in that attacking role. I've seen some highlights of him. Looks like he likes to get around and play in between lines, in between the channels, and kind of get other people set up. So his numbers might not be unreal, but you'll see his impact. Nobody's really filled that role yet, right? They've tried PT, they've tried Barco, they've tried a whole bunch of different people to come in and fill that role, and it just hasn't hit yet. So I'd be interested to see how he does. Adam, I'd ask you, but I feel like you already have an answer that we all know.
I would love nothing more to say that, but no, I'm gonna agree with Connor. I'll be serious for a moment and pick Santi Sosa. Part of me wants to pick one of the strikers, but Josef had basically the full year to recover from the injury, so he should, by the time the season starts, be relatively, if not close to 100%, I would think. I haven't heard of any, setbacks or anything as far as his rehab's gone. Which I know we spoke about how the players they lost, contributed to essentially half their goals. I mean, Josef comes back and that kind of offsets the whole thing. So it's not that big of a problem considering how good he is, but
it's also important to know that they've got Marcelino Moreno behind him as well. So that'll help set him up a lot. All right. Quick 15 seconds, no more, no less. Grade for the window for Atlanta United. Adam.
I'll give it a C. I don't think.
Of course he did.
I don't think what they did is necessarily going to put them back to where they were that first season, where they were just lights out, destroying everyone every game. I think they kind of took a step back last season. Yes, they had injuries. Yes, last season was a mess for everybody, but Atlanta especially were not good. You go into a group to start the season with three other teams, one of them being FCC, and they didn't make it out. So,
Connor.
I'm saying a B for them because I thought that they did a good job so far to bring in players that I think are going to fit Heinz's system well. And it seems like the team's kind of going more towards the setup that won them MLS Cup, going with the South American players and kind of creating a system that works well for them. And I think if they can get a couple more defenders and kind of add some more depth there, I think that's a good window for them, and they'll look like a strong team. At least on paper, they'll look like a strong team again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Not really. I lied. I give them a C-. In the long term, tons of potential. These guys are gonna get really good. Atlanta United make a lot of money. Everybody's really happy in Don Garber's office. They're gonna say, yay, 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 yay. They're our babies. We're gonna give them whatever they want. This year, you're losing half your goals, and your replacements are two U21 South Americans, a 37-year-old striker, and a recovering Josef. You're putting a lot of eggs in a basket that you don't know a lot about. And you need to get back to winning ways in that city very, very soon. On top of that, you let the majority of your back line go and have not brought in anyone to replace them, which means Brad Guzan is a dead man. C-.
Defense isn't important. There's no relegation. You concede as many goals as you want.
I'm not doing this tonight. That's a different episode. I'm not doing this tonight.
So I don't want to hang on this too much longer because I know we got to go through the other ones. But in terms of goals, I do think that they have a little bit more in terms of instead of just relying on Josef, because I mean, hopefully Heinz can get the best out of Barco, in which case he can help score goals. Moreno can help score goals. I know that they still have Rossetto. I don't know how far if he plays more up the pitch. I know Hyman gets a couple, not a ton, but then you also have like you said, the two Lopez's can contribute to goals. They got Kubo Torres still. So I think that there are plenty of guys that have goal scoring capabilities on this team. I just don't know if it will pan out. That kind of just depends on how things go with Hines.
Yep. Nope. Like I said, it'll definitely be an interesting one. But you're right. We can't hang on this too long because we've got a bunch of other teams. Why? Because MLS feel like we need to grow to 90 teams and we need to talk about them all. On to Chicago. Before we get into who they brought in and who they lost, are they rebranding again? I feel like I saw something about that saying they're going to get rid of the old badge because it looked awful.
Yeah, they are.
Good move, Chicago front office. Bad move, Chicago front office. You let Jordy Mihailovic go, who is your best attacker, hands down, or in terms of playmaking. Also bad in your front office. You let the legend Brent Bronico go. How dare you? Michael Ariza's gone, as well as Mr. Sapong, Jeremiah Guchar, and Connor Sparrow. They've brought in Chinoso Aforo, a striker out of the Latvian league, John Espinoza, a right back, Stanislav Ivanov, who Connor has a fun little tidbit about in a little bit, and John Duran, who is a winger center forward out of the Venezuelan league, I believe, or the Ecuadorian league, but he will be joining in January of 2022. Side note, that man is 17 years old. So he's got an 03 birthday. That's terrifying.
That makes me feel old.
Yep. Biggest losses to me, Jordy Mihailovic, 2 goals, 7 assists, and just under 1,200 minutes. But we know the type of contribution he can give. Brent Bronico doesn't do much for me. Cesar Sapong, I think, was always just a good option off the bench. He didn't play a lot last year, but he always was the answer, and everybody else kind of doesn't do much for me. So haven't lost too much talent. Really, I'm a big fan of the Aforo signing. He's got Europa League experience. He's got 10 goals, 7 assists in 515 games or 515 minutes, in the Latvian league. Yes, it's a Latvian league, but if you watch this guy play and just look at him, he's a monster. So I think he'll partner nicely with Mr. Beric up there. Espinoza, 1 goal, 2 assists from right back in just over 2,000 minutes for SD Aucas. And then Mr. Duran, like I said, 17 years old. He's played 322 minutes and has 0 goals, 0 assists. So not really sure where that is. But Connor, tell us a little bit about this Ivanov lad.
I don't have much to say in terms of actually knowing how he plays in real life. I just know him pretty well from Football Manager because I did a save with Ludogorets, which is they're like the top Bulgarian team. And he's a Bulgarian player. So he was in my scouting reports a lot. So I knew he's very in Football Manager 20. He's pretty high potential player, I think. Definitely one for the future. Eventually, I in my current save, I have him signed to my team, and he's just kind of like a backup player. And he's been here for a couple of years, but it's kind of cool to see my 2 worlds colliding.
Unreal type of stuff. But yeah, so he's got a goal and 2 assists in about 800 minutes of this season since the start of the year. But he's got 9 goals, 10 assists in about 3,000 minutes last year, and he's played in the Europa League as well. So Chicago going out and grabbing a lot of people with high level experience playing against upper European teams, it looks like. Where'd they make their biggest improvement, Connor?
I said John Espinosa. I think that he can come in and play right back for them and hopefully help to try to shore up the defense a little bit more. Because I mean, we saw bits and pieces of their attack kind of looking like a pretty good attack last season. So if they can kind of shore it up defensively, I think they could definitely be a contender, certainly for the playoffs, maybe to make a decent run in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, they have, if we're looking at the squad list here, their right back was Sekulic last year. Okay, not great. Doesn't really, stand out. They did sign him last year, if I remember correctly. So this might be just a backup rotational signing, or maybe to get him higher up on the pitch. He did play center back as well. So he's got a lot of different things there, and you might be able to squeeze him in every once in a while. Myself, like I mentioned earlier, I like the Sapporo signing. Big, strong, present, hold-up guy. Will be able to play next to or, give breaks to Beric if he has to. Reminds me of a sort of Igboananike. Remember that signing for Chicago way back when? Watching him play reminded me a lot like that. So I'm hoping they can work together pretty well with Madron behind them and their vast number of Argentinian wingers, and see if they can get something out of him. Adam, what do you got?
Yeah, I'd probably go with a 4. I mean, they only won 5 games last season, so bottom, fourth bottom of the East, in front of an Atlanta team that didn't have Yosef, so didn't have a striker, a DC team that was a DC team that was terrible, and a Cincinnati team that is Cincinnati. So
they really only win 5 games last year.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anyone who's going to come in and hopefully put the ball in the back of the net, hopefully can do something. Andrew, I also, while you were talking giga-brained logic, so we were talking beforehand how
they had 4 wins. Sorry, don't mean to cut you off. They had 4 wins.
No, I see 5
on ESPN. That says 5.
I've got 4 unscored, but as we know,
still not that many wins.
Still not mucho winner.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that probably doesn't count MLS's back tournament is my guess on who scored.
Yep, that'd probably be a good shout.
But we were talking, and Brant Bronico goes to Charlotte. Charlotte season ticket prices go through the roof. Coincidence?
All right, we're not getting into Charlotte season ticket prices. I'm not getting angry today. Transfer window grade. Adam, I said 15 seconds. You went on for a minute and a half. Let's go ahead and fix that.
Wow.
Transfer window grade.
C. I don't think
Of course it is. Everything's going to be a C for you.
No, it's not. I have a no. Just the first 2. I don't think I don't think Chicago's done enough. So like we talked about, they only had 5 wins last season. I don't know if the guys they've brought in are going to necessarily help them finish higher. I think looking at the table from last season, they'll probably finish maybe 1 or 2 spots higher, depending on who, the teams in and around them. But I don't see them, making leaps and bounds up the table.
Yeah, no, I'm just messing with you. I give them a C too.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah, they made all their moves last season, right? Their wingers, their center mids. They did a lot of that work last season. This is the season they're going to try and show off. So I'm not too flustered with what they've got in, what they've lost, what they've brought in. So C.
Yeah, I would say for me, I'm kind of between like a C+, B-, maybe something like that. Because like you said, they got most of their guys last season, so I kind of expect them to mainly fill out the first 11, and then these guys are going to help support them, give them a little bit more depth, and then they can kind of, while they have these guys currently in the first team, they can kind of build up these younger guys and give them like a couple years to settle in rather than just throwing them right into the first 11.
Yep, I agree with you there. I feel like we just sit back and let Adam take over the next one.
Oh, I was actually going to offer you guys to go because I didn't want to be too mean.
Really? Anybody who's been watching this show for any amount of time know that next up is FC Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati, Adam's favorite team, has done some very interesting business. So let's talk about it a little bit. Last year, they signed CM de Jong on a TAM deal, and we thought it was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. He played 850 minutes and got 0 points. So cool. They lost, and they let him go on a free to Heerenveen in the Eredivisie. They let go of Andrew Gutman, who was probably their better outside back. Obviously, high potential, the one that Chicago messed up. He gave them 1,800 minutes. Didn't have a lot of offensive ability, offensive contribution, but that's because he played for Cincinnati. Third in tackles per game and 6th most clearances and 2nd most cross blocks on the team. Kendall Waston, almost 2,000 minutes, 2 interceptions a game, most clearances, 3 headers a game, and their captain. That's going to be a tough one to replace. Spencer Ritchie, their rotational goalkeeper, went to Seattle. Rashawn Daly didn't really do much. Matthew Deplagne, which he was never my favorite defender, but he gave him 1,300 minutes and was the third most tackles, sixth most interceptions, fifth most clearances. Greg Garza was always hurt, but he gave him 9 appearances in 2020. Then Bobby Edwards, Tommy McAbee, Jim McLaughlin, Ray Ortiz, and RBNY GOAT, Hassan and Baum. Come back, Hassan, I miss you. But I thought they did great business outside of who they lost. Ronald Matarrita has been one of the better attacking fullbacks in MLS the last few years. Not so great on the defensive end, but clearly they don't care about that. They just want to score goals now. Ben Mines from RBNY, high potential, loves FIFA, can probably go between the two. Cody Cropper probably has a potential to take that starting spot. I've always liked Cody Cropper. I just think he is never in the right system to be successful. So put him in front of people taking 900 shots out of a game, maybe he'll get good. Calvin Harris out of the draft, they picked up a DJ, so their games are going to be absolutely bumping. No, he was one of the higher rated attackers out of this draft, so they've added depth there. And then they went out and made the third most expensive signing ever in the league in Brenner from Sao Paulo. This might be the biggest signing of the entire season. This may be the biggest signing this club will ever make in its history. Third most expensive signing in the league ever, 11 goals and 3 assists in 2,000 minutes for Sao Paulo. He is going to tear this league up. I don't care who is behind him. I don't care who's next to him. I don't care if he's the only man on the field. He's going to make these defenses look silly. But my question to you, my good friends, and I will start with superfan Adam Tamburello. Did they do enough? Did they do enough this offseason? Granted, it's not done yet, but have they done enough to this point to be happy?
So before I answer that, I agree Brenner's going to be great, but to say he's the best part of this team, you forget Jurgen Lacati is there. So slow your roll.
I said he was the best signing this team will ever make.
Again, Jurgen Lacati is on this team, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Stop it.
Do I think they did enough to be happy? Yeah, probably. Like, for a team that's won 8 games in 2 years, to make that ridiculous of a signing is incredible. Like, you know, it shows the direction that MLS is going. If Cincinnati and other teams in the league can establish a pipeline for young Brazilian talents to come and play here instead of going directly to Europe, like, all the better. Do I think they're gonna finish maybe not last this season? Hopefully. Like,
will they win more than 4 games?
So we're gonna do an episode in a few weeks before the season starts on our bold predictions. But I'll give you one now. Cincinnati hits double-digit wins, assuming the season is normal and goes without like random COVID postponements.
That's really bold.
I mean, it's not, like, when you think about it, it's super depressing that the fact that a bold prediction is they're going to hit 10 wins.
30.
Yeah.
That is pretty bad.
Like, they're essentially going to double their win total in year 3.
Interesting. Connor, did they do enough to be happy?
Not I wouldn't say like ecstatic. Maybe I'd say they're a little happy. I think that they can be happier by the time the window's over. Obviously awesome to sign Brenner for, I think that they took advantage of like a COVID crippled market and were able to get him with less competition to get him. And that's great for not only them, but for the league. The more young guys that we can bring in and then pump out to Europe, the more like the idea of MLS kind of as a middleman, grows, and then we can just continue to get more talent from South America and kind of continue this. So I really like that signing for the league as well as for FCC. And then I like Cody Cropper as well. I think definitely adds good competition for the goalkeeping spot. And then Matariza is, a very capable defender for them. I mean, this was a pretty bad team. I'm sure Adam can tell you every minute of every day. Um, so I feel like they need to do a little bit more still, but this is definitely in the right direction. So I would say it's fair for them to be happy, but there's still work to do. So not too happy yet.
I like the way you put that, and I also just want to put a caveat. We will, when we grow to be a better middleman league, and we get more South American talent, there's one system that doesn't fit South American talent. Never assume the Red Bull will take anybody from South America, because all we want to do is take everybody from New York and New Jersey, and if they got half a bit of talent, send them over to Austria. That's all we need.
You guys do take. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, didn't Kaku come from South America? You guys made a
Where'd he
profit.
go?
You guys made a profit on him, right?
Where'd he go? Is he still in Saudi Arabia? Did he go to Mexico? Is he even part of our team? I don't know.
Yeah, technically.
Does anybody
he's still
know?
a New York player.
I don't even think Kaku knows.
No.
Kaku played, but we don't know. I think they made a statement the other day that made it kind of official, like U.S. Soccer and UEFA or whatever the Saudi board was like, yeah, their paperwork's good. You lost him on a free. And that would be the biggest front office gaffe I've seen in 10 years. But we'll talk about that when we get down to it. For me, not for me. I don't think they've done enough to be happy this year. I think everybody is so blinded by the fact that they've gotten this big, great striker. They lost 2, maybe 3, if you consider Deplanier a starter. 3 starters from a 5-man back line and have replaced one of them with an outside back who is maybe one of the top 3 worst defenders I've ever watched actually defend. And I've watched Patrick Seegers defend. So there is still so much to do here that if you get blinded by the beauty of the signing that is Brenner, you're going to go and get yourself smacked 4-0 in the first game. Like, oh, look at our big fancy signing. And then, oh, wait, it's 4 minutes into the game. We're down 2 goals because we've got nobody to play center back. This has been one of the worst back lines in the last 2 years. And they got worse. That back line has gotten worse. Anybody who's excited about this transfer window is blind. Stom is going to need to do a hell of a lot to get this team back to where it needs to be. And by that, I mean more than 4 wins. So, grades. Adam, if you give him a C, I'm going to throw you through the computer.
Come on, Adam, give him a C. Just do it.
Can I give him a C for Cincinnati?
I like that.
Or an F for FCC, or D for Dumpster Fire FC. Pick your letter.
Pick one.
No, I'll give him a B. I actually do like the signings they've brought in. I think just looking at the people they've brought in, not necessarily offset by the people they've lost. If you just look at the incoming people, I think for a team that's won 8 games in 2 years, that's a solid bunch of guys that's come in. But yeah, I don't think they're, defense doesn't matter in this league. Brenner's going to score 30 goals and they'll finish in 12th.
Yeah, I had them at a B, and I just dropped them to a C- after realizing that they didn't actually replace anybody. They got really bad. They've got 1 good striker, maybe 2, and then Kuba behind them. So I'm giving them a C- simply because of Brenner. If they didn't sign Brenner up to this point, they're getting an F.
Yeah.
But C- because Brenner signing is class. Backline upgrades, non-existent. Midfield, Frankie Amaya wants out. He's probably going to hold out, not play. Oh, goodness me. This team is going to be a train wreck next year.
Frankie Amaya can come to Miami. I'll take him. I'll take him at Miami.
I said if they were going to go get Pity Martinez from Al Nassr, and I've tweeted this, send Frankie Amaya on his way out the door for the number 1 spot in the allocation ranking and maybe some money. Go sign Pity Martinez and go Cam.
Yeah.
Because they're also in talks to get Lucho Costa, which would be a nice signing up top.
Yeah,
again-
that's what I thought they were going to grab.
But again, how does that help you in the back line? It doesn't.
Defense doesn't matter.
He could play center back.
Stop it.
Get him some stilts.
This isn't DC, Connor. Can't put a
Benny Ball never dies.
They could bring in Benny Ball.
You can't put Lucho Acosta at right back and hope things are gonna work out.
You could try.
Watch us, damn it. Connor, you're great.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had a higher grade as well, but I like the way that you kind of broke it down. I do think that also, first of all, I want to ask, is it Brenner or is it Brenner?
Whatever you want it to
We're
be.
gonna have to
Okay.
listen to the first broadcast.
I'll call him Brenner.
This is
Okay.
gonna turn into another Alex Maweel, where everybody called him Mule for 4 years, and he's like, by the way, guys, it's Maweel.
If this podcast
Everybody
starts
like-
worrying about how we pronounce stuff, we're in trouble because we've
That's
butchered
true.
so many names on this show already.
That's fair.
That's facts.
But yeah, I think you make a really good point that the signing of Brenner is definitely like overshadowing all of the other problems that they have. I mean, hopefully they have some plans to bring in new defenders because I mean, if they do, then I would say it's a good window for them because, like you said, the defenders that they all got rid of have been doing a horrible job for them. So you definitely
Listen,
got to.
whoever they bring in, they want to throw Lucho Costa right back, and they can't do much worse.
Don't say that. Don't say that. They can come out with 0 wins.
Do it, please. I'd love to see that happen. Sorry,
I'll
Jason.
give him a B minus for Brenner because B for Brenner.
So I have this other article up with kind of just transfer roundups from the MLS.com writers. And they say that their biggest hole is creating a presence in the midfield. I don't know who this guy is writing this, and I have nothing against you as a person, my guy. But you also said that for Atlanta. Are we just forgetting that teams need center backs to play, or are we just gonna?
No, we
bypass
don't want
that?
that. We want 15 to 14 games every time.
Mhm.
All right. B minus for Brenner. On to Columbus, which has gotten me so absolutely fuming watching this team in the offseason. How do you take a team that manhandled MLS Cup, the most one-sided MLS Cup in history, and make them better? Who let that happen? Their biggest loss, really, Yunus Mukhtar, who went on a free to ADO Den Haag, gave him about 1,000 minutes, 5 goals, 2 assists. Chris Hayden played was the newest recipient of you played 5 games in MLS. Here's a big move to Europe. Andrew Tarbell played 6 games in replacement for an injured Eli Roon. Emma Boateng has no anything on the ball except speed. Hector Jimenez has played 4 games in 3 years. John Kempen didn't play at all last season. Fatai Alashe didn't play at all last season. Jordan Hamilton played 4 games. Christian Nemeth played 4 games. Fernando Adi played 4 games. And then they go sign BWP and Kevin Molina. Who let that happen? I can't wrap my mind around how a team that was that good got better. The other side of it, we just let a team sign a player better than Derek Etienne Jr., which means he's not playing next year. We should riot. Any league without DEJ7 playing on the wing is a league I don't want to be in. I rest my case. They also brought in Perry Kitchen for some depth at CDM. I'm okay with that. I think that's a good signing. Eric Dick is a backup goalkeeper. Isaiah Parente is a homegrown. And, oh, yeah, let's just get Evan Bush, one of the best shot stoppers in MLS, in case Eloy Room can't play for Gold Cup or injury. Let's just throw one of the best shot stoppers in league history as our backup. Oh, God. Can they repeat as MLS Cup champions? Is this going to be a back-to-back year? Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is episode 1, and I don't want to be super negative, but is there any point doing the rest of these episodes? Columbus is going to win everything again, right?
All right, let me rephrase that. Do they have the best chance at repeating?
Yeah.
Because that's probably what we need to talk about.
Yeah. If they don't win it, it's going to be a major disappointment.
It will. I agree.
Yeah, this team is gross.
So in 2 episodes, we're going to do deep dives into each team. I'm almost scared to talk about this team to watch their starting 11 transform from what it was to what it's about to be is going to make me sick to my stomach.
Forget their starting 11. Their bench is going to be ridiculous.
They're going to be
too.
so deep.
Their bench is going to be better than like FCC's entire team, LA Galaxy's entire team.
Oh, it's so frustrating. So frustrating, especially because it's in our conference. Like, it couldn't have been a Western Conference team.
So I will say I'm happy that it's Columbus, just as a club, because it's gone. It looks to me at least like it's gone from a team that almost moved to Texas, and there was a whole Save the Crew movement, and this team almost essentially disbanded and rebranded as a completely different franchise, to now being MLS Cup champions. I mean, if this is them not having a plan moving forward, I would be terrified to see them with a plan as far as them building a team. So like, I'm glad that they went from one extreme to the other, but at the same time, like, I can't, I don't understand how this team's going to lose a game.
Yeah, if they can't repeat, they're going to come damn close. They'll make it to the final.
Listen, it's MLS, so that means
Zero wins.
how good they look on paper.
0 wins.
They're gonna lose to FCC somehow, because that happened again last year too.
What type of team loses to FCC? They'll probably lose twice. Couldn't be my. Oh wait, yeah, it could be. Yikes.
So Connor, now with Kevin Molino and BWP there, does a certain striker finish Golden Boot again?
Stop.
I haven't thought about my Golden Boot pick. I don't think I could do that again.
We'll have to think about it.
It was a one-time decision.
Okay.
All right, let's get this really quickly over with. Grades for the window. A.
Yeah.
A.
All right, good. I'm moving on. DC United, the first year without Benny Ball in any of our MLS fandoms. Quiet window for a team that's got a new coach and new tactics. Interesting. Ulysses Segura out the door. Not too much game time last year. I believe he was injured. So I think he was usually one of their go-to center mids. No longer there. Earl Edwards Jr., backup goalkeeper, on his way to New England. Mohamed Abu, they declined his contract. Another center mid, didn't get much game time. Axel Schuberg, kind of on his last legs here. They gave him a shot. Good rotational center back. He's gone. Joman Rivas is gone. Never even heard of him. Don't think he played a minute. O'Neal Fisher, outside back. Not too many defensive or attacking contributions. Kind of just a filling guy. And the big one, Paul Arriola, on loan to Swansea. That will definitely turn into a permanent loan, especially with the very unfortunate injury of Mr. Morris this weekend. We wish you well, Jordan. Get better very soon, because we love watching you play. But has been one of their best attackers over the last few years. He's definitely going to stay over at Swansea. So that's a big loss for them. They signed Jacob Green as a homegrown. They brought in John Kempen as a backup goalkeeper. Adrian Perez from LAFC maybe gets into that starting 11. He hasn't played much in league, so I don't know much about him. Probably takes that Abu spot or a Segura spot as a kind of rotational player. And then they drafted Michael DeShields out of, I want to say Wisconsin. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. For a team that's got a new coach and a new plan, interesting window. I feel like they could have done more to develop an identity. The signings they've made don't scream, this is how I want to play, of any type, whether it be dump and chase, whether it be wing play, whether it be tiki-taka through the middle. I don't see where this team is going. So, does this window help pull them out of the basement of the East where they've been the last few years? I'll answer it myself because I haven't answered first in, I think, the whole episode. Not for me. You lost your best winger, didn't add much on either side of the ball, and you got a new coach and a new tactical plan. Now, does that tactical plan fit really well with the players they've got? Is Flores going to be really good? Is Gressel going to become an actual attacking midfielder or an actual right back or an actual goalkeeper? I don't know. But as I mentioned, there's no identity. And that's coming from a team that had Benny Ball identity. So there's no identity, period. I think they're going to struggle again this year. Now, granted, the window's not over. They can make 7 signings tomorrow morning, and I could look like a clown, but not for me. Mr. Tamburello, what are your thoughts?
I have zero clue what DC is going to look like this year. Like, one of those teams where you just look at and you're like, yeah, you guys are a team that exists in this league. I don't. They didn't make enough to where I'm like, oh, you guys are definitely gonna maybe finish a spot higher, but I don't think they can't finish much worse than they did last season. So I don't see them finish. I probably, depending on how FCC do, they might finish bottom of the East.
Yeah, no, and I'm almost certain we said the same thing about them last year. They just exist. They are the FC Dallas of the East.
No, that's New England.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Facts.
Yeah.
Big facts. Yep. Connor, just going to pull them out of the basement of the East?
Definitely not their window for me. If anything that's going to pull them out of the basement of the East, it's the talent that they already have on the team. Because I'm looking at the roster right now, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. They have a lot of capable players on this team. It's just, can the coach, get it to work? Because obviously Benny Ball didn't. And if this coach is none different, then they're just going to continue to sit at the bottom of the basement, because it's not like they brought in new guys that are going to help them change that. Because their window was pretty quiet, and all they did was manage to lose one of their best players. So
their outside backs are weak for me.
Yeah.
I like Joseph Moore. I think their right back is weak. You guys know I've never been a huge fan of Bill Hamid. I think he's way too inconsistent for my liking. Obviously, Donovan Pines is solid. Briant is getting up there in age. Birnbaum is getting up there in age. Gressel is playing every position known to man. Edison Flores, Yamil Assad, Moreno are probably your 3 big ones. And then you've got Ola Kamara up top, who, man, I want to see him get back to what he used to be. I miss watching prime Ola Kamara at LA Galaxy just tear stuff up, right? Or no, he was Columbus first, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Columbus first, then LA Galaxy. Yes. That was when we were having fun. When he played for Columbus, 19, 16 goals in Columbus, 14 goals with LA. Get back to that. Not good, and get back to that and have the whole rest of the team be not great. So get yourself to 9th in the league and then just drop off.
Yeah, they also have Yordi Reyna on the team now. Could add some. No,
no. We've been through this, and I want Adam to listen very clearly. Just because you're fast doesn't make you good. Adam has something about having real, him, Emma Boateng, he'll just take all of them, throw them all up top, and they're going to get 900 chances. Not a single one is going to hit the frame of target. Having him doesn't make your team better.
I was listening. What'd you say?
Now, granted, me saying that means he's going to go off for 15 goals this year.
He probably
will.
will.
You're welcome for that, DC United fans.
They also have Russell Canouse as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but they forget to roster him sometimes, and he plays anyway. So,
Benny Ball, come back.
But yeah, probably not getting out of the basement just off this window.
Gotcha. All right, grades quickly. Connor.
Just looking at the window, not the team, I'm giving it a D+, because I think that they lost a decent amount of more talent than they brought in.
I got a C- kind of for the same reason. Looking at the roster's going to be okay. You've got a new coach with money from that Areola sale that'll eventually come through. Didn't do much, but he can get what he has, he can work with. So I'm not too disheartened with it. I just think they probably could have gone and done one big signing.
Yeah, I give him a D. I don't think they did anything to move up or down.
D for DC United.
And
Yep.
for a team that is been perennially in the bottom of the league, you need to do something to get out of it. Now, will that coach change do it? Maybe. We'll see. David Beckham, English Retirement Home FC. Right? That's their new name now?
Something like that.
Something like that. All right. Ben Sweat, injured most of the season, but has always been a solid outside back. We saw him at New York City. He's gone off to Austin. Mikey Ambrose, we talked about. Will Trapp didn't get much game time, but always a solid defensive mid option. AJ De La Garza back to New England. Heartbreakingly, Jerome Kaiser didn't make the impact we all thought he would. Alvis Powell on his way out to Al Hilal. Where did that come from? I don't know. Andres Reyes back to RBNY, gave them 12-50 minutes, 3 yellows, 7 yellows and 3 red cards. Can we just talk about the fact that Red Bull scouting saw this guy play for less than 1,300 minutes, get 3 red cards, and was like, that's the guy I need to play center back when we get rid of Tim Parker. Unreal.
He must fit the system.
Yeah, doesn't he? Juan Agudelo, I didn't realize he played like 4 games for this team.
Yeah.
He didn't play at all. Dave Norman Jr., Denso Ulysses, don't think he ever stepped on the field. And then a GOAT retired this season. Mr. Robles, congratulations on a great career. And we hope you all the best in retirement. And from what I hear, we are creating a new goalkeepers coach spot for you. So make your way back soon, my friend. Picked up Felipe Valencia, a homegrown signing. Ian Frey, a homegrown signing. Edison Escona, a homegrown signing. Drafted Josh Penn. Dylan Castanera as a free agent. Ryan Shawcross, center back from Stoke. And I got to say, they're probably going to win the league after this next signing. Patrick Segrist is your backup left back. If one of your defenders gets hurt, Patrick Segrist is playing. Oh, man, I love it. And you traded for him. This wasn't a free agent signing. You traded for this man. Love it. Inter Miami resident fan over here. Thoughts?
I have no idea. You would think having an owner that's been literally at the top of the game would know how to at least structure a team that will progress year to year. I'm not saying go out and, smash MLS and win MLS Cup in the first year, but I don't see this as a step forward. I don't know on what planet bringing in Ryan Shawcross solves anything. I mean, yes, our backline wasn't spectacular last year, but it was a group of guys that were playing essentially for the first time in a pandemic where we didn't know when our next game was going to be. LGP came in 60% of the season into and slotted. I mean, he was probably our best center back for the majority when he came in, but LGP is going to look at Ryan Shawcross playing next to him and be like, what is happening?
Thoughts on how Ryan Shawcross is going to perform?
Sure. I think his experience playing in England will hopefully, and I say hopefully with the utmost optimism, because I absolutely want him to do well, will allow him to read the game super well. I mean, MLS isn't necessarily the quickest pace league in the world. So hopefully his, years and years of defending experience against Premier League strikers and whatever will help him, because obviously his, the pace in his legs isn't there anymore. So he's going to have to read the game in order to be a competent defender. But dude, I don't know. I think we just see shiny people, shiny names that are available, and we're like, ooh, yeah, I don't care how he fits in the team or what the marketability is or how long he'll actually be here. Like he'll probably be gone next season.
I think we're in a very deep state if we're a deep hole if as a state of our league we're labeling Ryan Shawcross as a shiny signing. That's terrifying to me.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think the pace is going to abuse the heck out of him. Having LGP there is probably a good balance, but he's going to need to be a monster in the air. He's going to need to be an enforcer. He's going to need to read the game really, really well. And the issue is MLS attackers don't know what they're doing. You can't read somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
True.
So he's gonna get ruined. He's gonna think, oh man, they want to go left. I'm forcing them left, and they're gonna be like, wait, 7 defenders on my right. I'm gonna go. He's in trouble, man.
If Luis was still there and he had a goalkeeper with years and years of experience to play behind him and kind of direct him, I would say he would be doing a lot better. I don't actually know who our starting goal is going to be here. So
you're starting who?
I don't know who the starting keeper is going to be.
Right now, it's Mr. McCarthy, isn't it?
Probably. Like
until it signs somebody.
Most of our goalkeepers are relatively young.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a worry, not as far as talent, just in terms of like being the voice and the leader back there. So we'll see. I mean, we get a full season of Matuidi and Higuain. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing remains to be seen, because like they didn't do a whole lot when they came in.
Great transition there, because my question for you after that whole thing: are Higuain and Matuidi, Pizarro, Morgan, that whole little attacking four there, is that enough to get them over the line, the playoff line? Like the proper one, not the extended one. The proper one is going to be this year.
Just making like a normal playoff? You're asking?
Yes.
I'm gonna sound like an idiot to say this, but I think take Higuain out of that. I think that Matuidi, Pizarro, Morgan are enough. I think Higuain has to be like just decent enough that he scores that puts us over the line. I'm not saying he has to like carry. I'm not expecting him to carry us through games. I mean, Lewis Morgan was easily like far and away our player of the season last year. I was very, very, very I was very scared we were going to lose him, and we still might.
I was yeah, that window's not over, and I know they're still looking.
He's been linked with a few teams, and I obviously would be very disappointed, but go play in Europe and do you. Like I'll still be rooting for you, but yeah, if he leaves, we're screwed. Because Pizarro kind of faded as the season went on. Matuidi wasn't necessarily the defensive presence I thought he would be. His legs didn't look like he had the attacking threat I thought he was going to have. Like he's just kind of there. So
I keep thinking back to that playoff when Dax McCarty toasted him for 45 yards, and he just watched it happen. And now he's got another year on those legs.
Yeah.
And you've got no defense behind you.
True.
And you got no goalkeeper to make a save.
Yeah, and that's the worry is now it's a new system as well with a new coach. Club football and international football are very different, especially when you're coaching an England women's team that is, for lack of a better word, ridiculously talented. So obviously he had to be in a half decent coach to get them to be successful. But when your team is as good as the England women's team are, you can kind of get away with being mediocre. Like I could probably coach the U.S. women's national team to a win. And
anybody can.
Yeah, like I don't have to. I can pretty much just set a lineup and be like, all right, girls, go play, and they'll
go
win.
have fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not to shift away from the sport, but kind of an analogy that I kind of I think about that is in the NBA when there was a brief stint when Steve Kerr was not coaching the Warriors and Luke Walton took over and was like undefeated with them like I don't know, however many games into the season. You know, he looked like an amazing coach because he was doing such a good job. And then he went over to the Kings and got like a job with a team that's not super loaded like the Warriors. And now he's like, I mean, I don't follow the Kings much, but it seems like
Not
he's
good.
mediocre
Yeah.
at best. So, you know, that seems like the vibe I'm getting from Neville here. You know, like he's going from the Warriors, now he's got I don't even want to say the Kings. This is like the Knicks roster from the last 2 seasons.
So you're gonna say no, Connor?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, which means they'll make the playoffs.
Of course. I think they'll be better. I just don't think they'll be good for the exact reason we've been talking about, right? You've got both Higuain and Matuidi have another year on their legs while everybody signs these young, quick attackers and young, quick defenders and people that are going to be able to lock them up. Shawcross is going to be a good locker room piece. He'll be able to get a team motivated and going. But that pace is going to eat him apart. And they're not deep there either. So if he tries to keep up and pulls a hammy, he's out for 4 weeks, you're in trouble. Grades. Adam, you're going last.
Okay.
Connor.
Okay, so quickly before the grade, I want to say watching LGP a lot over the years, he's a very aggressive center back. I feel like he finds himself very far forward a lot of the times. And if you're just leaving Ryan Shawcross as your last defender, you're going to be in some trouble.
Oh, man.
And also, I think that these two combined are going to get like 12 red cards this year.
I can't wait.
They're gonna be fun to watch.
One of them's because he's too aggressive. The other one's because he can't keep up. He's got dog so reds, which is what Trent Alexander-Arnold should have gotten yesterday. But don't spell that.
You got 3 points. Leave it alone.
I'm just saying.
I feel like maybe Miami fans will think I'm being too hard on them here, but I'm giving this an F because I feel like they lost a lot of good depth players and they brought in Ryan Shawcross and Patrick Seagrass. And that's it. And homegrowns, which it's so up in the air. You never know how that's going to be.
That's exactly what I said. I go, you basically cut your whole team. You signed a few homegrowns, Ryan Shawcross and Patrick Seagoat. So that's a big X for me. So good luck, Phil. Good luck, Inter Miami fans. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm giving this I'll say a D. I don't like. You can't go, and I understand that not every window Miami's going to go out and buy like an Higuain or a Matuidi. You know, I don't expect superstar after superstar, but you can't tell me Ryan Shawcross is meant to be one of the superstars on this team. You just can't do it.
I agree. All right, we've got 8 teams left. We've probably been going for like
That's fine.
A long time.
Yeah, right. So let's see how quickly we can get through these without going on dumb tangents until we get to Red Bull, and then I have to go on my 15-minute soapbox, and we'll deal with that later. Montreal, CF Montreal now. Potential coachless CF Montreal. Mr. Henry linked to Bournemouth job. Not heard much about it since the break. But
think someone, and that might just be the rest of the season. I think someone got the job.
Okay, which is good because I want Henry to stay here. Anyways, they lost Shamit Shom, didn't play too much. Max Urruti, second most goals on the team with 5, fourth most shots in just under 700 minutes. Jukurai tied first in tackles, third least dribble by, fourth most clearance. One of their better defenders. He's gone. Karifa Yao out on loan. Keyshawn Ferdinand on loan. Jorge Corrales gave 1,200 minutes. He's gone. Bojan's gone for the third most goals, second most shots. Steven Sava's gone. Anthony Jackson Hamel, I feel like he should have been a lot better than he was last year, but Orji Onkwonkwo is gone. 1 goal, 1 assist in about 600 minutes. Louis Binks, I believe, is still there for the rest of this season, and then he goes out on I think he got sold to Bologna, then loaned back. And we all need to pour one out for the legend that is Rod Fanny. No longer with the team. Just over 1,100 minutes, third most clearances, most interceptions. It will just not be the same without you, Sir Rod. Who'd they bring in? Zorhan Bassong, a left back from Cercle Bruges in Belgium. He has played like 4 minutes or something like that. He has like 0 game time, so I have no idea anything about him. Rita Zahir as a homegrown, Nathan Daniel Saliba as a homegrown, Sean Ray as a homegrown, Jean Anil Assi, homegrown, Kamal Miller to slide into that left back, center back area from Orlando. And then the big one, Jordi Mihailovic up top, huge potential to be the big playmaker. They brought in Sanusi Ibrahim, a winger, 18 years old. He'll go straight to the second team in Montreal until he's ready to go, but a member of the Nigerian U23s. Kike Struna might be the worst transfer this entire window. Why? I don't know. Andrew Booth, Bjorn Janssen, a striker from Ulsan Hyundai, Europa League experience, another option to Kyoto up top. Joaquin Torres, the winger from Newell's Old Boys, 7 goals, 4 assists in about 3,700 career minutes. And Ahmed Hamdi, Egyptian U23, 2 goals, 300 minutes in the Egyptian league. I'm very, very torn on this roster. It looks like they let go of a lot of their experienced defenders. Not quite sure if any of the people they brought in will fill in. I know for a fact Kike Struna is making this team worse. I have not liked this guy from the start. He's a good, he reminds me of Florian Ljungberg, like a guy who just gives his all the time. Not very good. Kamal Miller will be a good addition. I like that addition a lot. But yeah, I'm kind of confused as to what the game plan is here. But my question for you, my good friends, if Henry is to leave before the season, because we don't know if he's gone, will Montreal be good at all? Connor, thoughts?
It's hard to say if, not at all, but it will certainly be a lot more difficult for them because, I mean, look at how many changes they made this offseason. It feels like they literally threw out the entirety of the last team and brought in an entirely new team. And you did that all with the assumption that you're going to keep Henry. And then if you get rid of him and bring in a new coach, now it's all these players that this coach didn't, bring in for his system that he's got to incorporate now. So it's certainly going to make things a lot harder for them.
And that is the exact conversation I had with, I don't know his Twitter handle. I was actually going to shout him out. I'm going to look it up while I talk about this. But there was a guy on Twitter who I was having this conversation with. Same exact thing. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be bad? Like what happens if he's not there? And that was my exact point was, if you're going to bring in all these players, you're going to basically recycle your entire roster. You're doing it because Thierry Henry wants it. It's not, hey, Thierry, good job almost getting to the playoffs last year. Here's a brand new roster. Go do it again. He's asking for these people so he can format it. So unless you find somebody who's the exact carbon copy of him, that's not great. That's not a great look. So.
So Jonathan Woodgate is Bournemouth manager until the end of the season. So Henry is theoretically safe for the time being. But yeah. Didn't you tell me when we were talking that Victor Wanyama has like the second most shots on this team last season or some nonsense?
He was like third most in shots or something like that.
So
also P-Dubs 13. That's who I was speaking with. So what's up if you're listening?
Yeah, so the fact that your center back has the third most shots on your team is not the best look.
Yeah.
Seeing Akwanko leave kind of sucks. I just remember the one goal he had like 2 seasons ago where he like flicked it up to himself, flicked it over his head, and then like smashed it top bins from 20 yards out, and it was goal of the week, and it was awesome. But like, I understand if the output's not there, then there's no reason to keep him.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't see. I think the best thing about Montreal this season is their black jersey. I really like it.
I like the kit.
But yeah, I'm gonna give them a D. I don't think they're doing anything this season.
So that's your grade. You're gonna go right into the grades.
Straight into it.
D. All right, Connor, what do you got?
So originally I had him a little bit lower, but because Louis Binks is going to be here for the season, I gave him a C minus.
And for that exact reason, I'm bumping mine up to a regular C. They got some good experience up top, left a lot of holes in the back in terms of depth, but Louis Binks is a good hold on to. And I guess technically they did bring in a replacement center back, even though Kike Struna is basically traffic cone. Wanyama is going to need to do a lot of work, and I'm also interested to see what their formation looks like. So that's something for a future episode, but I'll give him a C for now. Little asterisk there because I had him at a C minus. On to Nashville, the Music City. I like their window. I really do. Didn't lose a ton of big talent. I think the only one that they're really going to be hurt by is Derek Jones. He was really versatile. He could play up top in the midfield, out on the wings, but he was injured a lot last year. But they also they lost Brady Scott, who didn't play too much. Cameron Lancaster, Miguel Nazareth, David Akam's probably another big one, but he didn't play a lot last year either. Brian Beckles, Tanner Dietrich, Ken Trebet, and Alan Wynn. All those guys didn't play more than 5 games combined, probably. So not a huge loss there. They bring in Rogerio Pinheiro, a winger. CJ Sapong goes up top. So he is a good, like I said, the big thing for me last year was their striker who's scoring their goals. Now that you're going to play him in role rotation or next to, oh man, I forgot the guy they signed last year, John
Cadiz.
Thank you. Cadiz, yep. And then Robert Castellanos, just a USL 2 signing. I didn't have a question for this one. You know, to me, so I'll go straight to the grade here. I gave them a C plus. They didn't do much. They didn't lose much. But they improved, I think, just not like exponentially. So my grade for nothing is C. It's right down the middle. Didn't get better, didn't get worse. They got a little bit better. I give them a C plus, but I don't really know what to ask because are they going to get better? Go ahead.
I'll give them a B minus. I think, and I'm going to compare them to Miami because they joined the league at the same time. They were obviously way better than everyone thought they were going to be last season. They seemed to only get better as the year went on. They now can look at their initial season and go, all right, what didn't work? Where do we need to improve? And I think, I mean, they only brought in 3 people, but I really like the CJ Sapong option.
Yep.
I mean, we mentioned Cadiz as their striker, who didn't do necessarily like a whole lot last season, but was solid enough. And now they have that other option to play up top with him. Like I'm excited to see what Nashville does this year.
Just cutting in here real quick. I know we were trying to, not go too much. According to Stephen Goff, DC United is in advanced talk with American defender Brandon Hines Ike, currently playing for Belgian side KB Kortrils. I can't pronounce that name. Nope. 44 appearances since 2018. Might be that replacement. We were talking about their outside back not being super great or their center backs not being super great. That might be the guy for them. Anyways, continue on, Connor, with your Nashville thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a B minus as well because I feel like this team didn't really need to make a ton of changes because they were good. They were a good team last year, so it's good that they didn't really lose much. And I think that they, like you said, they got a little bit better. I think Pinheiro can help them in the attack because I think and CJ Sapong as well because I think that was one of their weaker areas last season because their defense was pretty solid. It felt like a lot of like 1-0 wins for them last year or like 0-0 ties. So if they can get those couple more goals, it can really be like a Eastern Conference powerhouse.
Yep, I agree. I think their back is really good. They're fine in the back. It's the attack they got to worry about. So I like the direction they're going. I think they're good. Thoughts, Adam? Did you share your stuff already? Yes, you did. Sorry. All right, so let's just go straight to New England then, because like I said, they're gonna be fine. I'm not worried. New England, lots of big losses here. Diego Fagundes, after 1.5 million years, finally on his way out, and he's still only 15 apparently. 1 goal in about 900 minutes. He's just fallen off the face a little bit. Kikutamane is on his way out. Kellen Rose on his way out. Jeff Caldwell is gone. Michael Mancien is gone. Isaac Onking is gone. Nicholas Firmino is gone. Christian Pania is gone, which I think is a big one there. Seth Sinovic is gone. Delamay is gone. Alex Butner is gone. 3 assists for an attacking outside back that played for Man United at one point. It's kind of a big one. And about 7 years late, Lee Win to Ho Chi Minh City, because that was literally linked since I started watching this league. That is finally completed. They picked up Earl Edwards Jr., Christian Mafla from Atletico Nacional. He's a defender. Wilfred Kaptoum, a center defensive mid from Betis, who is their biggest signing, I'd have to say. AJ De La Garza from Inter Miami, and actually their biggest signing, Emma Boateng from Columbus, because he's fast. So that means he's very, very good.
Facts.
Big fan of the Kaptoum signing. I think he'll slide in really, really nicely in this team, because that's kind of the big part that they were missing. They haven't had a real holding mid. They had kind of a bunch of number 8s, never had a real number 6. So I'm excited to see him play and see what Bruce Arena does with him. But the question here is, they may have dropped their level a little bit, but does losing this many faces of the franchise, quote unquote, right? The Lee Wins, the Diego Fagundes, does it hurt their locker room atmosphere or the leadership aspect? And Connor, I want you to, because I think this is your question, Connor, is it not?
It is my question.
Yes, I'd like to hear you answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure New England fans can probably speak better on this topic in terms of how much of an influence that these guys have had. But the short time that I've been following the league, when I think of New England, I think of like Lee Win, I think of Diego Fagundes, I think of Christian Pania. So, I mean, there's other guys in this list as well that they lost that I feel like are pretty well associated with New England. And, they're not on the field. You may not really feel their presence lost in terms of like the talent, because they seem to have like fallen off from where they were at their best. But I was a little bit weary as to like how this would affect the locker room. Maybe they have enough guys that can kind of step up and fill that void for them. And you have a very veteran, experienced coach, which I think is really going to be helpful in making sure that that's not going to happen. But I mean, this is like losing a bunch of veterans, and like if with the Patriots, they lose Tom Brady, they lose Rob Gronkowski, they lose about any other big name players, and then it has its effect. But I don't know if that's the right analogy for this case, because I don't think these guys were on the same level as like Tom Brady. But I could see it having an effect a little bit, but I think ultimately having Bruce Arena is going to make sure that this isn't a problem.
Well, obviously nobody's on the same level as Tom Brady. If you looked at the poll put out by ESPN, Tom Brady is the most famous athlete in the world. Unbelievable. Loving the outside of soccer references here, Connor. Really, really good stuff. Adam, your thoughts?
I agree with Connor. It's kind of weird seeing guys that have been at New England for so long no longer there. But at the same time, I look at New England and I see like Matt Turner in goal. I see like none of their defenders do anything for me. None of their midfielders do anything for me. And then they have Buxa and Gustavo Bo up top. So unless Matt Turner makes every save and then just launches the ball up to him and says, here you go, make something happen. Like New England just doesn't do anything for me ever. Like, there's nothing in this team that excites me.
They literally are your FC Dallas. That's wild.
Yeah, kind of.
Personally, myself, I think it gives them a chance to rebrand, right? This team has always been the focus of Fagundes and Lee Win, and now you get the chance to have kids like Kessler, right? Henry Kessler as a center back has a chance to make himself the guy.
Yeah.
Which hasn't been a chance for anybody in years. Matt Turner has a chance to make himself the guy, right? Gustavo Bo, Carlos Hill, things like that. Somebody gets to be the new guy, which means that they can reinvent what they want to do. Now, granted, it's Bruce Arena. Nobody's going to get to reinvent what they want to do, but somebody gets to take more of a leadership role, which will be interesting to see. Grades. Adam. C.
D. I
Oh.
like the Cap. I think Captoom's the only one that comes in and plays.
Who do they? Where else do they need to improve on?
I would argue a defender. I like Brandon By. Now that I have the roster pulled up. I do like Brandon By. But I just don't think their backline's good enough to where they, I think New England fans think they're better. Not that they're better than they are, but like I think they have higher expectations for their franchise. And like New England just doesn't do anything.
You're looking at a center back of Andrew Farrell, Henry Kessler. I think Henry Kessler is a fantastic center back here. Hold on, let me get the
That's fair. I'll definitely keep I didn't watch a whole lot of New England last season, but I know the one I did, I was impressed with Brandon By. So that's just why I highlighted him.
Yep. I said Brandon By is good. Henry Kessler is very good.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the back line is better than what we think. And I think where they really, and as I mentioned before, where they really needed help was the 6. I don't remember the last time outside of Wilfred Zahibo, who was a walking red card with that team, where they had a true 6 just sitting there like a Dax McCarty. This will give them a chance to allow your 6s to start going forward. Carlos Hill now has free range to get in between the lines, get in between the spaces, and create. You've got Bo and Books up top, play some guys on the wing, and you can have somebody just truly just sit there and clean house. I like this. They didn't do too much. They didn't overdo anything. They got some depth with Christian Mafala. I'm giving this a B. I like this window for them.
I'm gonna give this window a C+, because they lost a lot of names, but I don't think they really lost too much talent on the field, to be honest with you. And they brought in a couple of guys to kind of fill in that depth void. And then I think that Captoom is their best signing for the window and could have a good influence on, maybe taking this team to the next level. So I think that they improved, not like a ton, but I do think that they improved a little bit from this window.
Nice. Okay. Well, that was New England. Let's move on to New York City, which should be very, very quick. They lost a lot of people. They didn't bring a lot of people back in. We'll start with Brad Stuber, backup goalkeeper. Joe Scally got sold to Mönchengladbach, another one of the you played 3 games. Here's a big transfer to Europe. Gary Mackay-Stevens, kind of upset that one didn't work out. I thought he was going to have a lot of potential here under Ronnie Dyla. Never worked, but that's what happened when you bring a winger to play at Yankee Stadium. Had to get that Yankee Stadium jab in there. Hey, some things change in season 2. You can't miss out on that stuff. Gideon Zalom's also out. I'm kind of surprised that he just was such a big name for a while and then fell off the face of the earth. Ronald Matarrita, we talked about. Big attacking presence, not there anymore. But the big one, Alex Ring is gone. Easily top 3 center defensive mids in the league. One of the best center mids, period, in the last 4 years. This man controlled everything on his 9v9 pitch. Nobody got by him. Captain, leader, this is one of the biggest losses in the Eastern Conference this year, no question. And they got a hell of a lot of money for him, with which they signed Malte Admonson, a left back from Veji BK, and homegrown Andres Janssen, and that's it. On top of that, I know we're not diving too deep into rosters. They've got one striker. It's great. They're going to have 0 goals this year. Speaking to Mr. Matt, who is a NYC supporter until they liquidate in 3 years, he's worried. Why is he worried? Because he doesn't know where his goals are coming from. So, does NYCFC have enough in attack to last the season and be competitive? Or are they kind of folding this one in and hoping Bear comes back strong? And who's the other one? Mitriza doesn't get bought up on his 2-year loan. Go ahead, Connor.
It's kind of hit or miss. A lot of things, in my opinion, would have to go right for them to say that they do have enough in attack to last the season. I think that they have to manage to keep Castellanos. They have to stay healthy, everybody that they have in attack, and then hope that a bear comes back quickly. If all of that happens for them, then yes, I think that they have enough in attack to last in the season. But that's a lot of things that they need to have go right for them, if for that to be the case. So, if they do happen to lose Castellanos, because I know there's been rumors about him leaving, and then someone else gets hurt before a bear comes back, now you're talking like disaster, because then they have pretty much nobody. So I would say it's likely that they don't, but I would say that there's a small chance that they do have enough.
So I just looked up NYCFC rumors, and evidently on November 7th, Jesus Medina had an offer made by Grêmio in Brazil, so he could also be gone. I don't know where that's at. Castellanos probably on it is also rumored somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe he was in the rumor mill at some point. It's just a mess. They're like getting rid of everybody, and not a single person's coming in. They're linked to another Romanian that might help them out, but he's a winger attacking midfielder. So what is he going to bring to the team? There's no strikers on this team. I don't get it. So what attack are we talking about? You're hoping Medina doesn't get sold, Tati doesn't get sold. They both sort out their ability to score. And then you're going to hope that you're putting a bear in the same pool as Josef. You're hoping he comes back quick from an ACL tear, and no, they don't have enough. There's not nearly enough. Adam,
I think, my thought process would be so much clearer if Ring is still there, because my assumption is they're gonna play some sort of like false 9 with Castellanos or Tajori Shroudy in that hole, but then you don't have a strong enough 3-man midfield behind them without Ring. So I have no idea what this, we have a decent idea what their back line is going to look like. Like, that's fairly unchanged. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what going forward is going to look like. Obviously the season after this, when Messi comes here, like, they'll be fine. Oh wait, no, he plays out wide. Yeah,
man, you can put him anywhere, and he'll put him in goal. He'll still dribble a team.
Yeah, that's fair.
Grades really quickly. I'm going to make it short and simple. It's an F.
Yeah.
You've got no attack, no CDM, no replacement for your best CDM, no stadium, and you sign a left back and a homegrown striker. Man City Light took a dump today, or this window. Now, granted, not over, but New York Yankees B, not looking good. Okay, they're all my shots. Continue.
F.
I'm giving it a D-, just because they have been a good team, and yes, they lost an important player in Alex Ring, and haven't replaced him. But the only reason I'm not giving it an F is because of the fact that they have been a good team so far. Like if this was Cincinnati's window, or if this is like Houston's window, then I'd probably give it an F. But I think that they still have a chance because they still have talented players on the team.
All right. I don't agree, but go on, Adam.
D- is like no much higher than an
No,
F.
it is because you said that they did something right. They didn't do anything
I
right.
didn't say
There's
they,
not
they did
one part
nothing
of-
right. They didn't do
No,
anything
then
right.
it's an F. Then it's an F.
It's not- it
D
doesn't have
minus
to be-
means you did a little bit right. They didn't do a damn thing right.
No, they don't have to do stuff right to get a D minus. If a team did absolutely nothing for the entire window, I wouldn't give them an F, depending on the team, and they would have done nothing right in that case. It'd be like a C because they didn't do anything.
Go ahead, Adam, before I punch Connor.
I already gave him an F.
Good, thank you. See, somebody has a brain.
Sometimes.
Yeah, until he starts talking about the best players from LA Galaxy's history and
Save your tangents for the Red Bulls.
Are we talking about Emma Boateng?
Giovinco playing Cam. Oh my god. All right, Major League, world class New York Red Bulls, future MLS 2021 champions are up next. Yeah, probably the best window in the world. Definitely. We got rid of Matty Jorgensen, probably the best $2 million anybody's ever spent ever. Jared Stroud, he played out of position, but he was a good high press system guy. Backup goalkeeper Kendall McIntosh is gone. Patrick Seacrest to Inter Miami. Good stuff. Ben Mines to FCC. We talked about that one already. Chris Lema to San Antonio FC. He was never making minutes. Samuel Tete was on loan. We never renewed that loan. Mark Schakowsky, good bench minutes. Never once Armas really took over. He never fit into that system. And then the biggest loss, part of the best center back pairing in the league in 2018, has had a rough 2 years, but finished the season real strong last year. Mr. Tim Parker, Long Island boy himself, is on his way to Houston. However, they did address that kind of with the signing of Andres Reyes. If he can stay on the field and not get red card, we talked about that. Luca Lewis from RBNY2 has a chance to sneak in as a starting goalkeeper. Now, there are rumors that there are like a Brazilian goalkeeper coming, but Luca Lewis has been like they signed him from Torino or Roma's academy. Like he's supposed to be legit. Wikelman Carmona, a CDM from Dynamo Margarita. He is apparently supposed to be the next Christian Caceres. Tom Edwards from Stoke makes his dream move to RBNY. I don't know if anybody saw that title. That might have been the greatest thing I've ever seen. He'll be an upgrade over Pendant, I hope. Fabio, a striker from the second division of Brazil. Just give us some depth there. And then the biggest signing of the entire transfer window, Eastern Conference, Western Conference, European, African, Asian, doesn't matter. 14-year-old Bento Estrella from the RBNY Academy. Why? Because we trust the system in New York Red Bull camp. Now, I got into a heated debate with somebody who thought that this was a good signing. And I'm not saying it's a bad signing. But if you're going to take somebody from the academy and not put him to RBNY2, and put him straight to the starting 11 just for him to sit on the bench? Why not put him to RB2, give him minutes, and take somebody like Omar Sow, who's been tearing it up at RB2, and bring him up here as striker depth? Yes, Adam.
Ooh, I know the answer. It's because you don't actually need to play in this league to get a big transfer. So he's going to play like 12 minutes at the end of the game when they're either winning or losing. And then Leipzig's going to go, ooh, we'll give you like 8 mil for him. And then Red Bull will go, that's a good idea because they're the same person doing the transfer.
That's
I always
pretty generous
imagine
to say 8
these
mil.
transfers. You know, FIFA when you go do a transfer and you like the other person comes into your office. I just imagine them coming into like an empty office and just switching chairs, being like, "We'll offer you $3. that's fair for the services of Lionel Messi. We'll agree to that one. It's just so silly. I don't get it, but it is funny. Connor asked a pretty interesting question here. We all know how much we love our basic names on the Metro here. Is Tom Edwards next in line on the throne of basic names?
Ben White's still the top.
Who?
Ben White.
Who?
Exactly.
Brian White.
Nope. Combination of Ben Mines and Brian White.
I'm going to say Fabio. He's a striker. It's one word, and it's a simple name.
I'm sticking with Tom Edwards. Tom Edwards, Brian White, and Tom Barlow.
Brian White's got to be the top.
So
Yeah, Brian White's on the throne, but that's why I'm saying Tom Edwards is next in line for the throne.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, he's just a boring English guy. Grades. Go ahead, Adam.
C. I mean, it's kind of tough when you start the transfer window negative $6 million in debt.
We didn't. We're not there yet.
So, it's not a great starting point to bring some guys in when you're losing supposedly your most attacking creative player on a free, maybe if the transfer goes through, but he's already playing for another team, but still is a Red Bull player. So who knows?
Connor, what do you got?
I'm hoping the transfer doesn't go through and Kaku just has to fly back and forth and play both for both teams.
What's funny is we don't have anybody who would get really pissed off at him for that, if somebody at FCC did that, Kendall Watson's 2-footing you the first session you get back. Who's gonna do that to him?
What do you mean? You got Andre Reyes now.
Yeah, that's true.
2-foot everybody.
You'll probably, that's what they signed the 14-year-old for. They can just send him down to RBNY2 as soon as it happened. They're like, oh, sorry, man, you don't belong here.
Andre Reyes is gonna 2-foot Struber the first training session.
Unreal. Connor, your grade, proper grade.
C. I don't think the team has changed a ton from this window, to be honest.
I gave him a C-, maybe a D+. This is another window, and I think I went C- because in the back of my head I said, remember the system, remember the reason you're a team. I wanted to say D+ because for yet another time, Red Bull needed a proven goal scorer, somebody who can be healthy and clinical in front of goal. Their entire attack is Tom Barlow and Brian White with Fabio behind them, and then the rookie we drafted from Syracuse, Archimedes. And they just didn't do anything about it. Instead, they watched their record signing go off and play 21 questions on whether we should make this move or not. Decided to just fly off on his own, scribbled a doctor's note that said, yes, I am sick. I can't be here.
I am 12.
I was going to go with that one, but I was like, but anyways, it just, you look again at signings for the first time that are not just Red Bull 2 signings, right? Tom Edwards is a great addition, I think. Reyes, if he's can be taught not to get a red card every time, will be good. Carmona is going to be good in 2 years. Bento Estrella in 7 years is going to grow a mustache and might actually be good. Fabio's up and down. I don't really mind. Luca Lewis can be the goalkeeper of the future. But yet again, they missed the mark on bringing in a young South American that can do something. I don't know. I'm not happy. I'll stick with C- because they have made improvements, but they missed the mark again, man. And I'm trying not to get tired of it, but I'm getting tired of it. But I know where we belong. So, all right. Before I get all sad, let's go to Orlando. We talked about Kamal Miller on its way out. Santiago Patino. There's one more missing there. There's somebody who should be on there. I'm missing one. Anyways, Alex Dion, Rubinho, Dom Dwyer, and big Daryl Dike, who is on loan at Barnsley, had probably the Rookie of the Year campaign, give or take. and he could be on his way out, and that would be a big loss for them. They did pick up Brandon Austin, a backup goalkeeper, Jonathan Suarez from Querétaro for some outside back depth, and the main man, Alexander Pato. We all know his quality. We've seen him play at Milan. And just like Nani, I think he's going to step in and just mess this league up. Not because he's going to be faster, stronger than anybody, but similar to the way Thierry Henry did it, where he is just straight up better than people. And him with Nani, Mueller, Michel, Pereira behind him, and then DK whenever he comes back, this is going to be a top 5 attack in the league. And I've said it, and I know some people doubt me, Mr. Right, but they're going to be dirty.
I'd just like to say I don't doubt you. They're going to be good. They'll certainly be a top team in the East. I'm just not as sold on Pato as you are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How many goals Pato get? How many goals?
I'll say I don't know if he's going to be taking penalty kicks for them. If he does, then I'd bump mine up a little bit more. But if he's not, I'll say 8 to 10.
I'm going to put 12 at least. Or I'm going to say 8 to 12. I'm going to open my range a little bit. I'm going to say 12, but I'm going to say at least 8 as well. Adam.
12 to 15.
Yeah. Cool.
Because he'll be on penalties.
I wonder if Nani will give them up.
Yeah, I mean, if he's on penalties, I'll bump him up a little bit more, like a couple more goals.
Yeah, like I said, I think the biggest question here is if DK comes back. Because if he does, how many you're going to play with 9 strikers? Because you're going to have so many.
Yeah, I can't see him unless the price tag is something ridiculous, which it very well might be, but I kind of doubt it. I don't see a world where he comes back, unfortunately, which kind of sucks because I love me some Daryl DK.
Yeah, I think the only thing they really could have done better is maybe pick up a defender or two, just to give them some more depth there. Kamal Miller was, he played just over 900 minutes last year, and made really good strides. So I would have liked to see him get replaced here, but I'm giving him a B-. We're going into grades here. They got some help outside back wise in Suarez. Their CMs are always solid. We already talked about that, and Pato's going to give them a top 5 attack in the league. So I'm going to go B- here. Connor.
I went with a C+ on mine, which I also put in a disclaimer that if DK does not come back, I'm instantly changing this to an F because then we don't have Daryl DK in the league anymore, and that's an absolute tragedy.
Good answer. I'm okay.
If you're new to the podcast, I just like to you'll find out quickly that I'm a Chelsea fan in terms of England. So I remember distinctly Pato's time with Chelsea.
Do you?
And
all 2 games of it?
Yeah, all 2 games of it. Which is why I feel like that's just always in the back of my mind when it comes to him. And it probably is overshadowing what he can do, like actually on the field in a league that's not the Premier League. So yeah, that's probably why I'm harder on him than you might be, just because he did absolutely nothing for Chelsea.
Yeah, but that was against Premier League talent.
I know, but I mean, you mentioned the Milan.
Patrick Seagrass this year. What do you mean?
You mentioned the Milan years, but that was 10 years ago. So
yeah, we all know how good he was in Milan, and he's going to be able to take that level down to MLS.
That was 10 years ago. I mean, Frank Lampard was fantastic 10 years ago. I wouldn't sign him. Yeah, I mean, he'll still be a serviceable striker. Doesn't mean if he's on the field for the
serviceable. My man just called Alexander Pato serviceable. I'm about to hang up on this call right now.
I'm just saying
you're not allowed to just say that he's serviceable.
That's
absolutely
the minimum for him. The minimum is he will be a serviceable striker for them. Obviously, he can be great for them. Hopefully, for the sake of Orlando, he is. But
where's the kick button on this thing?
Oh my god,
I have
you're so annoying. He's not going to kick me
Unreal.
because I told him I'm changing it to an F if DK gets sold.
Yeah,
So
I'm totally fine with that.
Unreal.
he'll probably end up being fine, and probably because I said something, I'm sure he'll be
Fine.
fantastic.
Oh my
You're
goodness.
acting like
Adam, start talking.
You're
Adam,
acting
start
like they
talking.
signed Zlatan.
So
Start talking.
so Connor, do you remember who the other strikers were that season when he was on Chelsea?
Was that the year that they also had Falcao?
Mhm.
I don't remember who the striker was for the team that year. What year was it?
There were 4 strikers on the roster: Diego Costa,
Okay. Wait, was this Loic Remy also?
Loic Remy,
Loic
Pato, and
Remy.
Falcao. That was our strike force that year.
He couldn't even get game time with those guys as strikers.
What do you mean? Falcao's class.
No, not at that point. He wasn't.
Well, yeah, any striker that goes to Chelsea is awful. We get it. Timo Werner doesn't know how to score goals anymore. Ruined Falcao.
Timo Werner's a winger now, apparently.
Pato. The only person that you didn't ruin is Giroud, and you just let him rot on the bench. You guys are striker killers, you guys.
In fairness, Falcao was terrible when he was at United too.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying United are any better.
So
there's only one place where strikers go to get good.
Yeah, no, I would give this probably a C. I don't think Orlando needed to do anything. I think losing DK sucks. Like I get it. Like, yeah, but like I'm kind of acting like he is. Like I'm kind of assuming he's staying in England.
If they pay 20 mil for DK after the first few games he's been good. He's not 20 mil good.
If the price tag truly is 20 mil, they won't pay it.
No chance.
I don't think they can pay
it. Yeah.
But as much as I would be disappointed that he's no longer in Orlando, because I don't watch Barnsley week in, week out. Like they played Chelsea a few weeks ago, and I genuinely didn't put 2 and 2 together when he came on as a sub, and I was like, oh, that guy looks familiar. Oh wait, it's Daldin. Like that's the team we're playing. Is that the one that on? Cool. I like Pato coming in. I have no idea if it's going to be more Nani than Kaká in terms of a signing for Orlando, but like
I think playing with Nani turns him into a better player than Kaká coming in with nobody around him.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the way I see it.
That's fair.
Serviceable. I'm moving on. I can't deal with this anymore. Philadelphia lost serviceable Brendan Aronson. Just he's got a goal and assist in 200 minutes in Austria. 4 goals, 5 assists in 2,200 minutes. But he had some really good vision and creativity. He was pretty serviceable. I hate you.
I kick you. I want to kick you for that.
Stop. They also lost Mark McKenzie, who didn't really have a ton of like defensive contributions in terms of like how he was in the league, but he never really made any mistakes either, right? You never came up and like, oh, look at what Mark McKenzie did. Ha 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 ha. So made WhoScored.com's MLS best 11 for the season. And is on his way to Belgium to grow in potential there. Andrew Wooten's gone. He had a few sub appearances. He played 16 games, but 500 minutes, goal and 2 assists. Tomas Romero, I don't know much about him. He didn't play much. Joe Bendik's gone. Aurelian Collins gone. Warren Craval is gone. And Mishi Ingalia is gone. And they signed 5 homegrown players. Nathan Harriel, Jack McGlynn, Paxton Aronson, Brendan's brother, Brandon Craig, and Quinn Sullivan. Connor asked a pretty good question here. Have Philly and Dallas proved, and I'm going to throw Red Bull in there too because you disrespectful person. How dare you? Tyler Adams, face of the USMNT. This guy, unreal. Have they proved that MLS is a league that needs to be scouted from bigger clubs in Europe? I'm going to say yes. You're seeing players go to biggest names all over the world. Bayern, Roma, Genk, Salzburg, and Leipzig. The only reason that they aren't going to teams directly like Juve, Chelsea, Barca is because there are visa restrictions in those countries where you need to have X amount of international games, and coming straight out of the academies, they're not going to have that. So they send them to the Belgian league, the German 2 league. Those areas will be a lot better for them in terms of development as well. So I'm saying yes, they need to be looking at them, and if it's a buy and loan type of thing, Zach Steffen, for example. So it's got to be. But I say absolutely. Absolutely, people should be looking here for talent so that we can, like I said, we're taking American talent, growing them through the league, sending them abroad, bringing them back, and then winning World Cup in 2026. It's great. I think I just saw Adam have a mini heart attack over there.
There was just a lot to process.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I would say not yet, personally, because while the potential for the players that are being signed is super high, I think we still need to wait and see that they actually live to this potential. Because I think that if teams are constantly signing guys from this league who have all this potential and then they come in and they just flop and do nothing, I can't see why they would keep coming back to this league. Because if it's continuously proved that they can't, bring in guys that are actually going to do stuff outside of MLS, there's no need to scout here anymore. So
that's fair.
I think that the potential for this to be true is there, and it's certainly close. I know the more Alphonso Davies that we produce from this league, the closer and closer we'll get to saying that this should be like a league scouted by every team.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's the reason Brian White's still here. That's the reason Tom Bartlett. I need reactions out of Adam, man. It's weird. I missed it, man. We haven't done it in 2 months. I need it. No, I completely agree, man. I think we need to have somebody prove it over there. Brian Reynolds is going to do fine. Reggie Cannon's doing fine already. Yeah, I completely agree with you, but I think more people need to start. Adam, your thoughts?
I agree with Connor's point, but I take Red Bull with a grain of salt, not because they don't have the talent, but it's like we said before, it's basically like me doing a deal with myself.
Yep. No, like I said, I'm going to put that in kind of comically. We have sent them to other teams, but yes, I agree. It's definitely more the Phillies and the FC Dallases. But to be fair, FC Dallas also has links with Bayern.
Yeah, that's so totally fair.
Yeah. It's like Montreal sending Louis Binks to Bologna is the same thing.
Do they have a link with Bologna?
Yeah, that's where they got Taider from. That's where they got
no, weird.
Who was before Taider?
Jamali or something?
Jamali,
yeah.
Granted, it didn't help them anywhere. They're still awful.
Yeah, I mean, Reggie Cannon played like 3 games for Boa Vista and was linked with like Lisbon and Porto.
Yeah. It's just funny to me how these guys can, like I said, Justin Shea hasn't played a single game.
Yeah.
And he's at Bayern too. You had Chris Richards and Weston McKennie moved without even going there. And then you had Reggie Cannon leave. And then Brian Reynolds came, played 12 games, and moved to Roma. Like, it's absurd. But absolutely, I think we need to be looking here. Grades. Adam, grade.
Like, I want to say D. I'm super impressed. Like, it's tough because I want to be super impressed because obviously Brendan Aronson and Mark McKenzie moving and killing it in Europe. Like, Brendan Aronson scored today and apparently played super well. Mark McKenzie's been getting game time in Belgium. So, like, they're both doing super well, and that's fantastic, and I love to see it. But they haven't signed anyone. But, like, they also probably, like, Brandon Aronson's little brother is probably just as good as he is. And
I'm about to say these homegrowns are probably nobody's heard of them, but they're probably going to come in and play good minutes.
Right. Like Paxton Aronson's probably going to be at Salzburg in 2 years.
Yeah.
So like
I said, I wonder how many of them have that pre-transfer signing already.
Yeah. So like, what do I know? They could be totally fine.
Yeah. I'm going the same way. I gave him a C-. I think I would have liked to see them replace Aronson or McKenzie with an actual like signing, but end of the day, I'm not worried about them. I think Jim Curtin knows what he wants to do. He knows how to get the best out of his players. It's like having a Red Bull system, right? You don't need the big names, the big flashy stars. You just need players. So I think Curtin knows what he's doing. He's a smart dude. Not worried. C- just simply because they lost more than they gained.
Yeah, I'm giving this one a C just because I really like the sales that they made in terms of like a league perspective. I think it's great for the league just to show that not only can we take the South American players and build them up and sell them on, but there's talent just in our own development as well. And I mean, these two sales prove that, and hopefully they'll be successful and continue to prove that MLS can develop their own players as well. But in the end, they ended up not signing anybody and bringing in homegrowns, which obviously works for Philly. But because they didn't sign anybody at all, and they're kind of just, I mean, I'm sure they have more than just hope on these guys panning out, but just based off of only bringing in homegrowns, I'm just going to give it a C.
Sure. Like I said, I'm not worried about them. I think they'll still be fine in the East. Maybe not top, but who knows?
How much did Brendan Aronson go for?
8?
Okay.
I don't know why I thought I remembered 11.
I thought, I was thinking 11 too, but I couldn't remember.
Okay, no, that's fair. For whatever reason, I had a lower number in my head, and I was trying to figure out how
his
Brian
market value is 11.
That's fair. I
The
was trying to figure
transfer
out.
fee, the transfer fee was 6.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
His market value is 11. His transfer fee was 6.
So yeah, so I was trying to figure out how he went for less money than Brian Reynolds did.
I'm just trying to figure out at what point is Jesse loaning him back to us so we can win MLS Cup. That's all I care about.
Never.
As soon as Jesse brings back Erling Haaland to New York.
Oh man, Jesse could have done so much over there. And
Can you imagine Erling Haaland came to New York Red Bull and played up top with Brian White and just looked at him like, what the hell is happening?
I have to imagine that's what it's like when he's playing for Norway. It's like, who are you people? And then he scores 9 goals and is like, okay, I don't need you guys.
Red
Just give me the ball.
Bull should do one like mini tournament where they just randomize the 4 different teams that they own and just see what happens. So you have like Tyler Adams playing balls to Brian White and Erling Haaland with
Upamecano in the back.
Yeah.
And then like David Jensen in goal with his hat.
Yeah, with like some random Red Bull, I don't know the Brazil team name, like defenders.
Yeah, that'd be so funny. I would love that. I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, I would love to watch that game.
All right, we got one more team. Let's get this over with. I'm pretty sure we're hitting like 2 hours right now.
Yeah.
But that's fine because we're the first episode back. We're having a great time, and we hope you are too. TFC's quick. They've lost 4 players. Lawrence Saman, who played like 4 games. Justin Marr, who had just over 900 minutes rotating into left back. Eric Zavaleta, who didn't play much. And Tony Gallagher, who I've never heard of. And signed a homegrown player. Not much to talk about here. Should Toronto have made more moves, Connor?
I said yes, but not necessarily for the first team. I think that they should have tried to target maybe some younger guys to bring in because I feel like this is a good opportunity to bring in young guys and not shove them directly into the first team. Give them some time to learn from the more veteran players and kind of get used to how the league plays. And then when those older guys go out and like move on or retire, now these guys that have been here for a little bit, who are kind of like just starting to come into their prime, now they can step in and fill that void.
Yep, I agree. Or even throw them down to TFC too, right? Give them game time, proper game time. I also said yes. They don't have a lot of depth, and everybody's getting older, which means everybody's going to be more prone to injury. I think they're fine up top, but I don't like their back line. I never have. I didn't like it last year, and they didn't make it any better. You let Morrow go, who got you a few starts, a few rotational minutes. Saman and Eric Zavaleta came off the bench a little bit. They're paper thin at center back, and they need to get somebody in there like yesterday. Adam.
I'm sad to see Eric Zavaleta go. I really liked watching him play. I feel like he was fairly solid. I'm gonna say the same thing next week when we talk about Seattle. Toronto's just one of those teams where like, yeah, they lost arguably 3 like quote starters, but like Toronto's fine. Like they're still gonna be good somehow. So I'm not like super concerned that they haven't necessarily brought in anyone yet. Like they're still gonna be toward the top of the table.
Yeah, they also don't have a proper left back in our position.
I know a team that just signed a backup one that they could have.
They've been linked to a defender, but There's rumors that DPs might be signed. Knowing Chris Armas, that might be like Gonzalo Verón. Grades, I'm giving him a C minus. Again, not much in, not much out, but I would have liked to see them go better at center back. Their only center backs on roster: Chris Mavinga, Dunn, and Omar Gonzalez. I am so tired of seeing Omar Gonzalez play in this league. I'm just tired of it. I don't need to see him anymore. I've seen him long enough. Let him be your Lawrence Simon and rotate out. But they've got 3 center backs, 2 right backs, maybe 3 right backs. You want to consider some of the wing backs that they have. But if one of those center backs goes down, you're running a very thin line. So that's really where they should focus. But yep, C minus, not much to talk about.
Yeah, I'm giving it a C just because they are a good team last year. So I don't think they needed to make a ton of changes. And I don't think the moves that have happened this transfer window have really changed their team at all.
Adam,
C. They'll be
that
fine.
one I'll let you have.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yep, not worried. That's it. That is the Eastern Conference wrap-up. A little bit longer than we probably expected, but what else do you expect when you get together for the first time in 2 months? We got to chat. If y'all made it this far, thanks for making it this far. We missed you. We hope you enjoyed. We got lots of big things coming up. We are now expanding the Designated Players Podcast social media. We will be posting TikTok videos because I'm going to learn how to do that so we can go viral, make Adam do trend dances. If FC Cincinnati finished top 4, you have to do a viral, whatever the viral TikTok trend is, you need to do it.
Top 3.
No, top 4.
I think we
top
should all make one of those as well. Just
Yeah. So
one of us has to make
in our predictions or bold predictions, we'll have one of those bold predictions where if this comes true, we have to do some sort of punishment. Yes,
Yeah.
I love it. We will also be going to Twitch and live streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook hopefully every Sunday night. We'll be doing live reactions to the Sunday night MLS game. Because we really love watching it and we love reacting to it in real time. So make sure you head over to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, and I don't know, MySpace. What else is there? I don't know. Anywhere, wherever you get your podcast, wherever you are on social media, look up the Designated Players Podcast. We'll be there. We'll be posting stuff. We'll be reacting to stuff. We'll be talking about stuff. Just make sure you go follow us. Make sure you go subscribe. Boys, you got anything else to say? First episode back. How we feeling? We good?
Yeah.
Excited to be back. We got another 45 weeks of this, boys. Get ready. I can't wait. I know you guys can't wait, and I hope the people listening can't wait either. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get into the next episode. I almost want to record it right now, but we're not going to do that. It's too late. Thanks, everybody, for listening. This has been Season 2, Episode 1 of the Designated Players Podcast, and we'll see you at Episode 2. Peace.